Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club. I'm here, Knick Knack. With me, the great Lord Warren.
Hello.
Bockage.
Hello, everyone.
And Seki.
The only important one.
Ouch,
Sure.
my feelings.
This podcast would sink without me.
Podcast already syncs. Seki reacts in sync without you, and I could find another history major.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's a low blow.
That
That's punching below the belt. You need to go back to the corner for that one.
that hurt a little bit. I put so much effort into those episodes. I've read so many things. Oh. Ugh. Fuck you too. Because they're gonna have fucking spoilers of Tower of God. Tower of God.
What's the Japanese titles? Kami Totao? I don't know how to pronounce it.
To be honest, I don't. So the original title is in Korean. It's Sinui Tap. The Japanese title is just the Japanese translation of Tower of God.
Got it.
So
Clearly,
it's Kami
I don't
no
know
something.
Japanese.
Yeah, Kami no something. It doesn't say specifically on the Wikipedia site because I didn't look.
So I guess I'll go here. I genuinely think this, because in the anime adaptation at least, I feel like the characters carry this more than the actual overarching story does. Because there's not much here other than the setup.
Yeah, it really isn't. And we also, while there is world building, there are, gaps in it, and it does make it,
We spend most of our
weird.
time in, one building.
Yeah.
So, what world is there to build at this point?
Yeah, that was the problem I had, is that everything's very poorly defined and described. If you look at they don't really show you what the world looks like, period. And so when you look at all these different characters, okay, that guy looks like he's from a fucking sci-fi film. That guy's literally just a dinosaur. And this guy looked like he just stepped out of out of Konosuba or something. What the fuck does this world look like? Because it really is poorly defined, and you go okay. And like I said earlier, there's these guys throwing around titles, and they're talking about their positions and things like that. And okay, I have no idea how any of this works because you don't describe that, you haven't explained that to me. So all of these big shocking reveals of oh, I'm this general of this, and everybody goes, oh my god. I'm well, that means nothing to me because I have no idea what the fuck anybody's talking about.
Yeah, if you watch the anime only thing you probably would know about the leadership is the King Jihad, and that is it in terms of leadership.
I suppose there's something here that needs to be mentioned. So this is a Korean webtoon, and speaking as someone who has read an extensive amount of Korean webtoons, rankers in a tower fighting things to improve their rank and eventually reach some sort of ultimate goal is one of the most popular types of Korean webtoon and manga.
Okay.
There are literally hundreds of these. I've read at least 50 of this exact same story and plot, just with different characters, slightly different setup, different abilities.
Okay.
This is basically Korean power leveling fantasy, and it is one of the most popular genres present in Korean literature currently, outside of historical romance and reincarnation, which I've also read a shit ton of and are predominantly Korean. So I think part of some of what you're missing out is just that knowledge of the way that stuff like this is often set up in Korean literature. I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, tower, fighting, ranking, regulars and irregulars, guardians, that all makes sense.
They don't
because
even explain
I've
what
read
an
so
irregular
many.
is until later on in the series, too.
Oh yeah, and I think, like I said, that's because I've read so many. Not only have I read Tower of God, but I've read the exact same thing over and over and over again. And I have to admit, I like these type of stories.
Well, you're looking at it from kind of the genre. I'm simply looking at it from a writing perspective.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Things.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
yeah.
I think a huge part of that's just where we're contained to in this season. Because in this season, for being a tower story, they don't climb the tower very much.
The tower is also
Yeah.
very poorly
Yeah.
defined. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if like, you know, I understand it's like, you know, there's like impossible space kind of stuff going on and
Because
things
you're
like
supposed
that.
to figure it out as the story goes, and I think this is where the anime adaptation of the webtoon fails. Is you're just not getting the same. You're not getting the same amount of things explained to you in the anime as you do in an equivalent amount of the webtoon. To be
They do
honest.
explain a lot of it, but a lot of it's so just rapid fire without really giving
Yeah.
you the weight of what that actually means.
And because in the webtoon, like most explanations are like they're done like chapter by chapter, and the chapters are shorter, you kind of is that chapter 1 tells you about this, chapter 2 tells you about this. Here you look, episode 1 covers like several chapters, and so it tells you about a whole ton of things, and it gets confusing because I think it's a pacing issue in my opinion on the conversion from webtoon to anime, and I see where the problem is. Like I
Gotcha.
get it, it's there, it's a problem.
But if you're watching anime only, what you're left with is boy simps over girl until girl kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It's
the other
confusing.
thing that, like, oh my god, like, I told my friend because he's been asking me, he's like, oh, so you're watching Tower of God? And I said, yeah, so second to last episode, I think it is, there's, like, you know, the big dramatic, like, betrayal moment, and I literally went, oh my god, the person who betrayed you again! Oh my god, the horror! It's like, no shit.
Yeah.
It's like this. I get this is like they set it up like this is gonna be like supposed to be like this big shocking like holy crap moment, but it literally went she did this like what twice already.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone really surprised by this?
And they do kind of spoil that her entire point is to kill him at the very beginning, because like when they're in the little King's game thing,
Yeah.
you have like thing, will you be able to kill him?
Which is just a waste of 2 episodes because nothing changes. Everything just goes back, resets to 0.
They take the
Because
sword
nobody
away.
wins.
Yeah.
They move around that sword, but that sword doesn't really do much in this season.
No,
Yeah.
The sword does one thing in
Yeah.
the first episode and then does nothing for the rest of the season.
It did matter during King's game. So yeah.
I mean, I have to admit that
Not King's game.
I think it's a
Crown King.
very good thing this is getting more seasons.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
this, as a standalone, does not stand alone.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
It really is just the fucking prologue to a larger
Well, like, and
story.
again, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say a lot of negative things about this, but again, it's not like terrible. It's just
It feels like some elements of this were
Okay.
very misguided.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's a diff. Like I guess the one way I can describe it is like, okay, reading Dune is fucking complicated because Dune will throw all these weird things at you, and it's like, okay, what the fuck is any of that? It's like, what's a Kwisatz Haderach? Why do you
Yeah.
guys keep using this term? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But the thing is that there's enough world building around that story that you eventually go, okay, I'm pretty sure this is what they're referring to, but then in this one, you don't get any of that world building that's necessity to, like, kind of put things together yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
that's unfortunate.
Uh-oh, what happened?
What?
I was checking to see how many chapters was contained in this first season of anime.
Wasn't it 85?
But it's the entire first season of Tower of God, but the first season of Tower of God was 80 chapters.
80.
Out of 50, up to 550.
Yeah. So and this so when this was in the webtoon, this 80 chapters, including the preview and review, are split into 11 arcs and an epilogue.
Basically, we're getting an arc an episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
So you can definitely see where you would have had more time to mull over certain arcs
Yeah.
reading this if it was like at least 4 to 5 episodes per arc.
So when I say this, because you brought up Dune, I do want to say I like the Dune movie that just came out, but also I think I could feel like the difference between the book and the movie there as well, and how it handled its world building. Because in the movie, it did feel like, wait, what's all this lore you're dropping on me
Yeah.
here? And it does leave off at a very unsatisfying point for a conclusion.
Yeah, well, that's because because the Dune book is so fucking complicated. They're like, okay, we're splitting this one book into 2 movies because David Lynch tried to cram it into one movie, and that
doesn't
that
work.
was
Yeah.
it's arguable how that movie turned out. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are indifferent to it. So it's very controversial.
Oh,
All I know is that there's that really weird, I know that one incredibly uncomfortable fact about Sting being in that Speedo.
We actually have faced this with Persona, was it 3, the movies?
Well, just when you're adapting stuff in
Yeah.
general, if anything has a lot of character focus or world building, it's really hard to adapt that naturally to screen.
So that last episode 13, that was all about Rachel and her backstory.
Yeah.
That was the 3-chapter epilogue to the rest of the first season.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was like the epilogue meant to cap the entire rest of the season.
Did anyone else feel like that whole thing went on way too long and we just didn't learn anything new? Because it's like, yeah, she doesn't like him and she's got to kill him.
There was some. It eliminated some of the vagueness to her character arc up to that point, whether or not she actually liked Bomb, and it did flesh that out a little bit. But at the same time, the entire thing does come off as a bit of a recap episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, usually you save those for the next season, but I'm just, hey man, I don't know how to make anime. I'm just...
Yeah,
The problem is, like, like most of the other characters, like, they at least got something and she didn't, so you kind of need to make up for it, I feel.
It was it was plot twist by omission, the way the
Yeah.
anime handles it.
yeah. I think that's just a shitty pacing, shitty time setup, time scale.
Yeah. Maybe more episodes might have helped, but...
I don't know if you could do that, though, because for an anime pacing, there's a certain amount you expect, and if a lot of those episodes end up being just characterization,
Plus,
characterization, people already complain the series is a little too slow.
Plus, you have the issues of, like, whole arcs that are only, like, an episode or two in the webtoon. Can you, like, that wouldn't even translate to, like, 5 minutes of the anime on this pacing scale, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we've got 2 arcs that are literally 1 or 2 episodes long in the webtoon that are, like, basically filler.
Yeah.
You know? It's just the pacing is completely different.
Very much so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
What? How much was cramped?
Because I binge read, it often gets blurry where seasons end for me and where arcs kind of start and end, so I often have a distorted perspective of like you've seen it with Solo Leveling, where I just expect things to be
You thought
done.
we were like 2 volumes ahead of where we should be.
Exactly. So like, and unless I look it up, sometimes I don't realize the leaps I'm making. Like, for some reason, I thought the first season of Tower of God was like 24 or 40 episodes only. No, it's 78, and that's a lot. That's a lot more than I would have put in a season, to be honest. I probably would have taken us from the opening arc to like the rest, which is right before the positioning test in the middle, I would have split that into one season, given more background, and then done season 2 as the other half of the arc.
You would think that, but I don't know if for an anime audience that would work very well.
I don't know.
Because already because I was watching this when it was airing, a huge thing going on around the discourse was how little was happening with how many episodes it had.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, like, and think about how many floors they actually scaled here. They scaled like 3.
Yeah.
Even in the webtoon, this is meant to be more of a prologue section. But like stretching it out that long so you can get that much characterization in would slow things to a crawl anime-wise.
I don't think it's meant to be a prologue, to be honest, because right now the story is separated into basically 3 seasons, right? And it feels like each season is its own separate story, not just a prologue for the next one. It feels like...
But you said we're at how many episodes total?
Like 550.
We're only at 3 seasons.
Yeah.
The other seasons like double and triple
the
the
seasons
season
are really
in length.
long. I mean, season 2, The Return of the Prince is... let's see... Oh, so season 2 goes from the 81st chapter to the 417th.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I mean. Like, this is, in the grand scheme of things, a prologue to the whole story.
And that particular one is separated into 4 sub-arcs before the start of part 3. And then, part 3 is...
So what I'm hearing is season 2 is just going to run breakneck speed through those episodes.
I don't think it will. I think season 2 will follow the splitting of the way that they've done 4 major arcs. Because Tower of God season 2 is split into 4 major sub-arcs. So I assume we'll probably get one of those. Probably the first one, the Prince of Zahard.
No, I mean, I assume that too. I was just making a joke.
Yeah.
Season
And
2 is
fall
also...
completely flat.
Sorry.
No, I get it, though.
Technically, though, Prince of Zahard's only 35 chapters.
That's because it's brand new.
No,
Oh, you mean the arc?
that's the next one that they'll be adapting if
Yeah.
they go in order. It also takes place 6 years later, so there's going to be a big time skip if they follow
Yeah,
the
because
story.
as we all know, the best thing in anime is when there's a big old time skip. It's not
She's
like
a One
It
Piece fan.
works.
goddamn awful.
Hey!
Hey,
I do like a good time skip.
if done well, yes.
Yes.
But not a lot of them are.
Sorry, she's a One Piece fan, and I'm a Fire Emblem fan. We both have great reverence for the time skip sometimes.
High five! Solidarity! Because I also like Bleach and Naruto, which have time skips.
You poor sweet summer child.
Hey, don't knock on the one thing that's getting me to read Boku no Hero, which is my love of shonen. Don't knock.
There's not that much
Do-
time.
well, I'm
Do
just-
not
I'm gonna-
remove
okay,
the
I'm
bottom
gonna
of
say-
this house of
No,
cards.
I'm gonna say this. You're a stronger person than I am because I dropped Bleach twice.
I finished
dropped
Bleach.
when I started noticing that all the backgrounds are disappearing.
Nah,
That it's just characters in a white void, and I dropped it, and then someone's like, "Oh, dude, have you seen this? It's really cool." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, these characters look pretty cool." And then I read like halfway into that, and I'm like, "Wow, I am so bored." I dropped Bleach twice, so you have a stronger stomach than I do.
I finished the Bleach manga, and I'm currently watching Sennen Kessenhen.
I can't remember. Do you guys read Hero Academia?
I am
No.
currently.
Not much.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there is a time if they've done a time skip.
I don't...
If they did, it was a very small one.
Yeah, I think
But
that I think it's
don't
one. I
remember.
think at like some of the newest chapters of the manga chapters, they cut like a month or two.
But that
later.
doesn't. When I think of like a shonen time skip, I'm thinking of the ones where they take a time skip to age up the characters by 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I mean,
Which they do
that,
in most of the big shonens.
Yeah,
at some
absolutely.
point.
But like that's why I was trying to think. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's been one in Hero Academia that isn't
No.
more than like a month or two, and that's like arguable time skip at best.
That's fair, but we should leave this for later
Yes.
and move back to
Yeah.
Tower of God.
Tower of God, no time skip.
Not
I
yet.
think.
Not yet.
I don't know. It's like I don't even know if they ever explain how time works. It's like, oh yes, you're going to be doing this. It's like in a week. The sun never fucking moves, dude. I
Yeah,
don't think
well-
there's ever a
Yeah.
scene that takes place at night.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that is, once again, unfortunately for the anime, unexplained shit that you find
Well-
out about in the webtoon. Because, like, a lot of this has to do with, like, the world building and, like, the mechanics of the tower itself, which are important and weird and fucky.
At the end of the day, we're looking at this from the anime perspective, not necessarily the webtoon.
I know I'm fighting for the webtoon, and it's wrong. I shouldn't
Oh,
be.
I like the webtoon, what I read.
No, wait. You know what? Were you about to bring up the fact that they do explain that the sky is fake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just thought of that, and you were trying to bring up a point. I'm like, that's what you were going to go with,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Because that is right. Okay. Sorry.
Sky's fake, like, but the thing is, people live a shitting long time supposedly in that world as well, so time has gone fucky wucky anyway.
Yeah.
So
I guess
throw it
that-
out.
That is a good point. That is a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah. The sky is totally fucking fake.
Yeah, time is irrelevant and unimportant.
Is that why there are some people that look like they're fucking from fucking sci-fi games or something?
Probably.
That's part of the world building.
I'm pretty sure that's just a
Yeah.
result of the fact that everyone's living on different floors
Yeah.
normally, so you have very separate societies.
Yeah, speaking
Which
of...
I don't think they... did they ever say that? I don't remember
Nope.
that.
I don't think that's really established well in the anime.
No, but they...
So that's something from the
Yeah.
webtoon again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't even know that.
Speaking of, you mentioned though that one of the things I wanted to bring up here in the story. So we battles in the tower are done in teams, right? And we got to experience that a little bit, like the teams. And each team member has a position, and there's 5 typic ones. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, like the 5 positions and shit like that.
Oh, I did, but I just kind of filled in like, RPG stances, tank, support.
Yeah,
DPS.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not what they're called, but that's basically what
Yeah,
they
that
are.
basically is. The only one I remember is Fisherman.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
the-
is-
Such a weird name.
Spear
Yeah.
bearer, light bearer, scout, and wave controller. Yeah.
And fisherman.
Well, I said that, and then I continued. Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I do remember that. I don't know. It's.
I think one of the things I can see is I can definitely see the author's military influence.
Oh yeah.
In certain aspects of this, especially in the way that he lays out the battles and the teams.
Oh yeah, that's.
Because you're like, look, we have a direct fighter, a support class, a reconnaissance, an on-ground reconnaissance, guides, shit like that. So I definitely see that.
And backlines.
But again, this season, fighting is not really all that important for the largest chunk of it.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I also would like to.
In the series, actually.
I also would like to call out this author for being as bad as Oda in some ways. He plans this story at times up to 8 years in advance.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Of his writing. So and he likes to post little tidbits and extra bits about the world, to his blog and Instagram and at the ends of chapters.
I mean, people when this was coming out called this the One Piece of
yeah,
webtoons.
this is the One Piece of webtoons.
I actually have a funny story about Oda that I wanted to ask you about later if you knew.
Okay.
Apparently Oda had a really hard time publishing One Piece. And apparently at one point, Akira Toriyama's editor told Oda that he should just give up because he's never going to get this published. And then Oda said to him, okay, but if I get it published, I want you to stand up in front of everyone and tell me you were wrong. And he cashed in on that at a dinner party.
Yeah. I know he had trouble getting it published originally because it just wasn't what people were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody thought that was gonna...
But yeah, I gotta give it to Oda for that because he waited I think until it was some big banquet thing celebrating One Piece's an achievement One Piece one, and then he cashed in on that and made Akira Toriyama's editor say he was wrong in front of all those people. I'm gotta love that vindictive attitude.
Would. I'm not gonna lie, I would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
At least the man kept his word. So.
We want to go ahead and go over some of the characters here.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, probably should.
I do think the characters in this are much stronger than the story, even if the Rachel plot was just a little too telegraphed.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, waifu wars?
We do that after
Okay.
we talk about the characters.
Well, we gotta introduce the characters before we can do the waifu wars, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how waifus work around here, man.
They don't. The
Fair.
answer is that they don't.
Fair. Remember, last time I was on here, we skipped waifu wars completely.
Oh yeah, because we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
So our main character is Bomb, 25th Bomb, 25th Knight, 25th Chestnut, whatever. Rachel.
Plot MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Um.
Rock the Gator.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had was it
Kun?
Kun? Yeah, Kun the Royal Bitch Boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are kind of our main trio right there. Even though Rock doesn't really get a lot to do in this season.
No,
Yeah,
he
I
doesn't
mean,
really
to be
do
fair-
much. He just kind of shouts a lot. He's just very boisterous.
To be
He's
fair,
entertaining when he's on screen.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he doesn't do anything because he's like, oh, you pass in a throwaway line.
We do also meet Andrasi and Ha Yuri, the Zahards, who are important, and then the two antagonists, Yuhan Sung and Lopo Biaren.
There's also the fake Zahard, Anak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of characters, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Not a lot of them get to develop as others.
Yeah. Like Rock is just
What an artist.
what right now he is just a stereotypical
The stereotypical Seki build.
like
Hey!
He's the meathead of the group.
Yep.
Really.
Hey!
Sorry, did somebody diss on Seki and I missed it?
Yes.
Oh, rude.
She's always the berserker in our
Rude.
D&D games.
Okay, but don't tell me that moment in the second, or is it the third to last episode, where they run into something they can't handle, so he just picks up the guy and jumps over it and attacks it directly. That was not Seki right there.
You're not entirely wrong.
Yeah.
Rude. Though. Rude!
I'm trying to remember, did any character really stand out to me? Not really. Not really. I mean, you got your archetypes for the different characters, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think there's too many characters because they don't really get to develop.
A lot of them get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think the only ones that really get to stand out as far as characterization goes are Baum and Rachel. Kuhn gets a fair bit. And then Anok and Andrasi was her name. They get a fair bit too.
Yeah.
Other than that, the others, characterization-wise, don't get much.
Yeah.
I feel we're supposed to like feel something for the guy who like knifed himself, but I felt absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he was basically a non-character
Yeah.
up till that point.
Well, that was actually one of my problems with the story is that like all the characters like you guys got to be careful. This is life and death, and like no one dies. The first person who dies is in like episode 9,
I'm not
and
gonna
that's
lie.
the dude who stabs himself.
I struggled to tell the characters apart in this anime because they look so different from what I'm used to seeing them as because of where I read the story to.
Okay.
I
They
mean,
are drastically
you get-
different looking.
you get that flash of time skip Bomb at the after the end credits, and
Yeah.
they completely changed the character
You're just
designs
like,
later on.
oh, this is a
Okay.
whole nother person.
Mm.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing I told my friend about this. That, like, I don't feel like anything that happens has any weight to it because they talk about it a lot. They say like, okay, you can die doing like you guys are gonna die, etc., etc. And like, there's that one guy who gets his entire back cut open and he's in the next scene and he's totally fine. Or like they say, yeah, if you get knocked off these platforms, you'll die.
I
And
mean-
everyone who falls off the platform are in the next scene. No one died.
Well, no, they didn't say die. They'll say you'll definitely feel it though.
They actually said they wouldn't. It was enough to where they probably wouldn't die, but their injuries were their problems. That was what they were saying.
Also, it matters more later. The series gets darker.
I
as
mean,
it
I
goes on.
imagine so, but
So.
like the
Yeah.
season this. Like I said, I have no
Plus,
context of what happens later on. I'm just like from what I saw now.
As someone who
like-
watches shonens, life-ending injuries are never life-ending injuries.
Yeah, but the injuries at least have weight to them. No injury in this felt like it had any weight whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Every time Goku gets injured, I just go, ha.
Well, that's Goku though, because Goku's just a walking fucking abomination.
Or Ichigo. Or Luffy.
Luffy's rubber. He'll recover.
I mean, to be fair, he does have a scar.
Yeah, one scar.
Yeah.
Two technically.
If I can,
Technically.
if I could
Technically.
play devil's advocate here and like side with blockage a little, oftentimes those shonen aren't making, like they're not trying to emphasize the weight of those injuries as much as Tower of God does. And meanwhile, Tower of God, you don't see outside of like a couple times in the series, you don't see very many deaths or major like setback injuries.
That's fair.
And like the biggest one, the Rachel one, was a fake out.
But I gotta
Yeah,
be
exactly.
honest, I don't really go into animes expecting to see a ton of blood and death.
Well,
pretty
but
rare.
You expect that, like, when something serious happens, there's weight to it.
Yeah.
I mean, in this case, for me, it's just a matter of Tower of God tries to build that more into its identity and doesn't necessarily deliver here.
Well, yeah, they like try to build it up as like this is a serious thing. You have to take this seriously, but there's no consequences.
As opposed to, say, One Piece, where they don't really try to build it up more, so when it does happen, it's more impactful.
Okay.
Like there's a like for example in One Piece, what's the name of the restaurant in the middle of the ocean?
Baratier.
Is that the name of the restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah. So like when he's fighting the one guy who went to the Grand Line and totally failed, right?
Yep.
Like when he's just like and he's got the spear that explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And he just keeps hitting Luffy with it, and there's that one moment where Luffy's just like looks like a charred husk on the ground. You're like, you have a moment where like, oh yeah, that he's definitely getting hurt. He's not walking these off.
Mm-hmm.
Except he does end up walking it off. Zoro, on the other hand, does not.
Zoro does not.
Okay, that's a better example. Yeah,
Yeah.
when he fought
Yeah.
it's Hawkeye for the first
Dracula
time.
Mihawk.
Yeah, so he fights Hawkeye for the first time. Yeah, that's like there's weight to that fight. That has a lasting thing where it's like, yeah, his injury bothers him throughout the entire next arc.
That's fair.
But like there's nothing like they try to like imply that's like the kind of things that are going on in Tower of God, but it's like but everyone just kind of walks it off. Like that one chick gets stabbed all the way through the chest and she's walking around in the next 5 minutes. I mean that's also anime, but still
Yeah.
I mean, there's one example of that, but it does end up not playing much into the overarching story. The Andrasi a knock injury after they fall together in that one little scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That ends up playing into why they all ally with the others, but then they don't. That injury ends up not being as big going forward. So.
Also,
but I think that's a victim of the times of the pacing there.
Can I just say, girl, get some new fucking shoes. How many times have you fallen on your own ass because your heels keep breaking?
I'm pretty sure she keeps getting a new heel.
Yeah, it's like, and you keep wearing the same shoes. You think you'd learn by now? God's sakes!
No, you never learn.
You just keep
Yep.
buying shoes and destroying them.
I mean, I don't, but like apparently she does. Find something you like, keep buying it regardless.
I mean, what kind of shoes can really handle, like, a fight like that, though?
Flats.
Well-made shoes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't wear
Boots.
fucking heels to a fight.
Look, you can wear heels to a fight.
You
Just
might
don't
not
be
winning that.
stupid about it.
Yeah, just don't wear heels like hers.
Don't-
Wear sensible heels.
Yeah, you can wear heels to a fight. Just don't be stupid about it.
See, I've worn heels to a fight.
Yeah.
And I came out fine. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I can see you looking at me, but I'm not going to elaborate on that. But yeah.
I'm more curious at the image than anything.
Well, it was a heel on a boot.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it's not like,
Plus,
yeah.
heels were originally created for men, not women.
I'm not questioning why a man is wearing heels. I'm questioning under what circumstance you'd end up in a fight in heels.
Because he was wearing boots that had a heel and he ended up in a fight? He didn't wear heels to
a
fight.
fight. No, she wore heels to a fight. I wore well, actually, I did wear heels to a fight.
But
I did wear those on purpose.
But did you wear them because they were part of your outfit? Or because you wanted to fight in heels?
They were part of the outfit.
See, that's different. There's wearing heels to fight in heels, and then there's wearing heels, but
then
also
ending up
being in a fight.
Yeah, bit of context. Like, why do you think when you think girls get into like a fist fight, why do you think they take their stilettos off first?
Yeah. And their earrings and any piercings that are dangling.
So you don't end up like Andrasi?
Exactly.
Well, I thought you just take him, then start stabbing them with a heel.
That is actually something they recommend to like for like in,
If
like,
you're wearing
women's self-defense
stilettos,
classes.
yeah.
If you're wearing stilettos, they say take them off and aim for the eye.
Or don't take them off and go right through the foot.
Yeah.
Straight through.
A buddy of mine saw that happen.
With enough force. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what else needed force? I don't fucking know. I don't have any segue to get us back on track.
So back on topic. Waifu wars.
Oh god.
Waifu
Have we talked about enough characters?
Waifu wars.
There's nothing to talk about.
Waifu wars. Born. Waifu.
Rock.
Knick-knack.
Ooh. I'm gonna go Anak, I think. I like the murder child.
Bakaj.
Can I say the black ball at the beginning?
Yes.
Because it's spherical, it's a ball, looks comfy.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose.
If I have to actually pick character, I'm picking the Gator guy, Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta pick him because it's like, all right, well, you're the least annoying and character.
He's the token joke character, and I like him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
My favorite character isn't in the anime yet.
Well, you gotta pick from the anime.
Yeah, we've been in this conundrum before.
But I don't wanna.
We can say like what we like later, okay? But pick from the anime.
What was the fucking I guess Anak. Yeah.
I figured it was either gonna be Rock or the murder child.
Yeah. It's probably Anak. I mean, my favorite character is Jihad, so
I don't think I've even seen him.
no, he's the
Yeah.
overarching antagonist.
He comes in pretty late.
Yeah.
Mine, or the series, is Princess Yuri. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, well,
Isn't the one who gives Bam the sword?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
she doesn't get much to do this season.
Yeah.
No,
she
basically
really
she's like,
doesn't.
hey, I have to figure out how to get here, and it takes me an entire season to do that.
Yeah. Which kind of maybe explains like a bit in the tower, but really doesn't at all.
Yeah.
Which, again, problems with pacing, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the fucking rabbit guy?
Oh, that was the not Guardian. It was freaking god dang it! I can't remember.
Like, I don't know. His aesthetic just threw me off. He looked like he was from a completely different series.
Well, he's supposed to be from the tower itself.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, he's like
Pretty sure everyone outside of Bomb and Rachel are supposed to be from the tower itself.
Yeah, I have no idea how any of this works.
Wait, Guardian? No, he wasn't a Guardian. He was.
He's the guy who decides who gets to go in the tower, right?
Yep.
Hebron?
The rabbit-looking thing.
It was the.
Hedon.
Hedon.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, his aesthetic just threw me off.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the point, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I think that's all we've got for the moment. So we'll see you next time with our free thoughts here. Purposely go on some tangents this time.
Yeah.
Try harder, everyone.